How's it going, everybody? This is Nathan at Kitten Equipment Company, Northern Kentucky's 5-paw premier coyote dealer. And I've got something real cool today. Very rarely, well, I shouldn't say very rarely, we sell a handful of these a year. But when we set them up, usually people are so excited to get them that I don't even have time to make a video. But today I do. Pardon me, there's some construction going on the other side of the woods over there. I'm in the back 40 of our big 6-acre lot in the back here, and I wanted to do a video on this really cool implement we sell. This is a Trailblazer TB Max, and it is very unique. You can probably see that. This is a 44-inch hydraulic driven front mounted rotary cutter. There's only a few companies in the US that make this thing. This is one of them. These are out of Tennessee. They're related to Titan Implement, so they're kind of a sister company to them, and they're really cool. So what makes this thing so special is basically it's front mounted, it's quick attached, just like your front buckets are, front pallet forks. It's, you know, it's skid steer hookup right on the front, and it's a hydraulic driven rotary cutter, so it can cut in multiple different positions. Because there's no mechanical linkage that connects this like a rear rotary cutter. You know, a rear rotary cutter has a gearbox and a drive shaft, and that linkage is mechanical. So mechanical linkage has some restrictions on which way it can turn. Eventually you get that drive shaft turning too steep, and it's not gonna work right. It's gonna be bound up. It's gonna be limited in that way. But when you have a hydraulic system, it gives you two benefits. One, you can turn that thing any which way you want. If you get hoses long enough, you can put this rotary cutter over there and run it, you know? So you can put it in multiple different positions like this one can. Or two, a hydraulic system, also because it's not mechanical, you can get some pretty high cut capacities out of these without hurting mechanical linkage, right? This thing is all hydraulic until it gets to the motor, and then it becomes mechanical. So there's a lot of, you know, impacts and things that can hurt a drive line. You have to worry about slip clutches and shear pins, where this thing, when it hits some stuff that's too heavy, it just bogs down and you come off of it, and then the hydraulics whirl back up and you're in business. So really cool. And I wanted to go over the system itself, and then I wanted to go over how we attach them to tractors. They're a one-size-fits-all. You know, anything that skid steer quick attach can run these, but maybe you don't have enough hydraulic power, maybe you don't have enough loader lift or enough tractor weight to carry them around. And they make two different versions of these. One's a heavier, one's a lighter one for lighter tractors. And then they also make a really cool rear hydraulic pump that can be paired with them, and it's driven off the PTO. So if you have a tractor that's too small, that doesn't have the hydraulic output to run this, you can hook up that pump and it will run it for you. So it's really, really cool. There's a lot of different options here. Let's go over this one itself. So basically what you're seeing right now is the 90-degree cutting position. So this thing cuts at this 90-degree angle right here. These are the blades that swing. And so if you're driving up against like wood line and stuff that you need to get cut down, you can raise that loader up to full height and trim. You know, it's pretty cool for that. You can also cut out front, so it'll cut right here in front of the tractor just like normal. So if you need to reach out and grab stuff that's out on the wood line, or if you need to cut stuff really around here, it's really, really cool. You can get down like creek sides, lake sides, stuff that you have. If you have a pond and you want to just reach down there and cut with it, you can. All the functionality your loader has, this has. And then you can also take this 90-degree sitting, and I can unpin it. So basically, once I've got it sit over here, I can take this bar, pull this pin. You don't want to do that while it's up like this. You want to curl the whole loader forward so that gravity takes over. And then you take this pin, you pull it out, and you lean this thing down. It'll cut 180 degrees offset. So it'll cut out here flat, so you can go up against wood lines and fences. And then you can also cut offset it at an angle. So if you wanted to drive along driveways, or again, lake sides, creek sides, it'll cut at that angle offset. So it has all kinds of different functionality. It just gets changed with the pull of a pin. And then you also, if you want to change it back to this flat in front sitting, you pull two pins and it swings all the way around. It's really neat. I don't have two people here today, or else I'd show you, because it takes one person would have to hold the camera, right? So yeah, there's a lot of functionality there. I also want to show you how we tend to hook these up to tractors. So the first thing we've done is, you know, you've got these hoses. This is just like how a grapple would hook up, how a whatever else you'd have up front hydraulic would hook up. So we've got these lines running right here to the front, and they're quick attach. So when you take this cutter off, you just pop the cutter off with the quick attach links, and then you pop these two hoses out and it's off. But the second thing is the way you have to run these hydraulically. A lot of people have a third function kit and they say, okay, well, I want to run this off of my third function. And you could, for a second, you know, you hit that button on the third function and it's on, and then you let the button go and it's off. So you'd have to drive around with your button held on the, or with your finger held on the button the entire time. That would be a little annoying. The second issue that's going to create is a third function is not really designed for constant hydraulic flow. It's really specially designed for temporary on and off movements. So like open and close on a grapple, or, you know, back and forth on hydraulic pallet forks, all kinds of different things. But not constant flow. It's not meant for stuff you want to turn on and leave on, like this cutter, like a backhoe, like different things like that. So what we do is we actually run these off of the rear remotes of the tractor. So on this model, this is an NX series. It comes with a spring remote, and a spring remote falls back to neutral on its own when you let go. So we've installed a second hydraulic remote from the factory, and that is a detent remote, and you turn it on and it stays on. So we had to put a second rear remote on this, and they've got that. And then from the back, we've got two sets of hydraulic lines, and this is what's really unique about these. So one hydraulic line is running back here coming from that rear remote, but the other one is not plugged in. See how that's capped there? The other one actually comes back and it runs to someplace in the sump. And we do that basically for two reasons. One, to prevent back pressure. Eventually, as those hydraulics run over time, something can't get fluid through it fast enough and heat will build up with pressure. So it can blow O-rings and do other things if you leave it on for too long. So we run the second line back to the return, and then every tractor is different. And this, when I say they're one size fits all, that's true. But to get the whole system working the way it should, every single Coyote model is different, and I assure you that every other model this thing can go on is going to be different. But, you know, we or you, or I'm sure somebody's capable of making it work. On this Coyote, what we do is really cool. Where the oil cap is to fill the hydraulic oil is a sump drain, right? So we take this piece of pipe and we run it to the oil cap fill, and then we put a T in and we tee that line into that pipe, so the oil, when it returns off that cutter, it drains right back into where the fill cap is. And then where the other T comes out, we've got the oil fill cap, so you can fill your oil just like normal. It's nice and compact, it's out of the way. The 3-point arms, you know, stay out of the way. It's a pretty sweet system. So the NX works really well. The Coyote RX works really well. There's a lot of things you can do with it. But basically, this is how you're going to want to set up. You're going to want a line coming from the rear remote, and you're going to want a line returning back into the sump of the tractor. The second thing that does for you, besides back pressure and heat issues, is when you turn that cutter off, when you hit the lever on the rotary cutter and you turn it off, and I'll show you how to do that here. So on this one is forwards. So if we turn it forward and the cutter is running, when I go to turn it off, if I had both lines running into the rear remote, it would stop really hard. It would slam shut. Basically, the fluid can't return anymore, therefore it can't send anymore, and everything stops. And it tends to shake and beat things up. But when you return it back to the sump, when I turn it off, the oil drains back where it belongs and everything slows down nice and smoothly. So it's really the best way to do it. So that's kind of a quick walkover of these. One of these days, when I get two people and a little bit of a nicer setup, you know, more quality production, I'll do a video on one of these. I'll run it up in the air, I'll run it off in the wood line. I'm sure other people have done that on YouTube, but what I wanted to go over is the way to set them up on tractors and how we do that here at Kitten Equipment, to make it work the way it should and to give you a nice quick attach system. I really have to give credit to the guys here, because like our assembly shop, he built this bracket, tied in all the lines with the loader lines nice and clean, made sure that they would move with the loader, made it quick attach up here, and then tied it in the back all the way it should be, so everything's nice and safe and it's not going to break anything. So we do that here. You know, it's not crazy expensive. This whole setup for these guys was less than $7,000, which I know seems like a lot, but if you go and price one of these for a skid steer, it's pretty intense. And like I said, there's other versions too. You can get ones for smaller tractors, you can get rear hydraulic pump kits where you don't have to pipe in all these lines. There's a lot of options. So if you're interested, give us a call. Our number is 859-356-9091. We've got a few of these left in stock this year, and we can put them on all kinds of different things. Again, that's 859-356-9091. Call me. I'm Nathan. I'm the sales manager here. We can help you out. Thanks.